Good evening, everyone. I show the time is 6:30. This regular meeting of the mayor and council is now called to order. Please rise for a pledge of allegiance, followed by an invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tyson, will you lead us in prayer, please?
Heavenly Father, we come thanking you for this wonderful day that you have made. Father God, we ask you to come into the midst of our meeting as we make decisions for the future of Social Circle. In your Son, Jesus' name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Tyson. All right, I do have a few announcements. Unless I state otherwise, all of these are in the community room that we're in now. Of course, we have our council meeting tonight. Municipal Court is September the 17th at 1 p.m. Planning Commission, September the 23rd at 6 p.m. Tree Board meeting, September the 25th at 6 p.m. Our next council work session is October the 2nd, 6:30. Downtown Development Authority of Social Circle, October 9 at 9 a.m. Social Circle Development Authority, October 9 at 3 p.m. Historic Preservation Meeting, October 14th, 6 p.m. Municipal Court, October the 15th at 1 p.m. And our next council meeting, October the 21st, 6:30 p.m. Next up, we have some presentations. Do we have any employee introduction and recognition?
I don't believe we have anything.
Okay. Amber, downtown rundown.
Good evening. I start out the rundown with a little update about our farmers market. So we've been holding the farmers market on the first and the third Thursday in Friendship Park. So it's time once again. So this Thursday, we'll have 16 vendors for the market. Next on the list is a citywide cleanup. Join us here outside the community room at 8 a.m. on Saturday, September the 27th. We will have biscuits and coffee provided for the volunteers, and when we hand out street assignments, we'll also have all of the supplies, gloves, pickers, vests, and trash bags. Coffee and Conversations will be hosted by the Social Circle Main Street Commission at Social 1832 on Tuesday, September the 30th at 9 a.m. Please make plans to join us for this monthly networking event. The 31st Annual Friendship Festival, we had registration close on Friday, and we have more vendors than we have spaces, which is a good problem to have. So, very full festival, Saturday, October the 4th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in downtown. We'll have music, food, a kids' activity area, and lots of great vendors for folks to shop at. So we're hoping for good weather. Last year we had around 7,500 people throughout the day here, and they stayed an average of almost an hour and a half. So we're hoping that we can beat that record this year. And then last on the list is just a little reminder that Critters Outdoor Pizza hosts kids karaoke in Friendship Park every Friday night from 6 to 9 o'clock. They always seem to have a good crowd, but just wanted to put that reminder on the rundown for this month. That's all I have.
Any questions for Amber? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Citizens' requests, we had no one to sign up. Are there any council requests?
Just gonna look at the status of it.
Okay. Agenda approval.
I would like to amend the agenda and add item number 4 is a moratorium.
Item number 4 under new business.
Under new business.
You can be more specific.
Yeah, more specific on that, Steve. Moratorium on.
Applications for data centers.
So to be clear, this is a moratorium on accepting any new applications from this point forward.
Yeah.
For how long?
Okay.
How long?
90 days.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda, the amended agenda.
Okay, we have a motion from Nathan and a second from Teresa. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, that's gonna bring us up to our, public hearing portion of our meeting, and I do have some rules to read before we get started on that. Reads, we have 8 public hearings tonight. As the agenda item is brought forth, city staff will present the application. The applicant will give their presentation 10 minutes total, then a public hearing will be reopened or be opened. Then anyone registered to speak in favor of the application will be called to the podium, give their name and address, and are limited to 10 minutes total, not each. Then anyone registered to speak against the application will be called to the podium, give their name and address, and limited to 10 minutes total, not each. Once the applicant has been given an opportunity for rebuttal, with any time remaining, the public hearing will close and the matter will come before the council for a vote. With that, I'll call our first public hearing. Ask Cody, will you come give us a report, please? This is on annexation, ANX 2025-0003 for 0 Fairplay Road.
Good evening. To save us a little bit of time and redundancy, each staff analysis, staff summary will be pertinent to the zoning case only. It won't be a repetition of the entire proposal. For case number ANX 2025-003, WSG Land LLC is requesting to annex tax parcel SC 210010DP into the City of Social Circle as part of a proposed data center development. As part of the proposal, if approved, the applicant would also be seeking a future land use map amendment, a rezone, and a special use approval as well. This parcel is approximately 28 acres and is currently in the unincorporated portion of Walton County off Fairplay Road. This parcel is directly adjacent to property currently within the city limits, and the property it abuts is also owned by the applicant. The requested annexation, as proposed, appears that it would address a specific need by promoting job growth in the area and increasing the tax base. It does not appear that the proposed annexation would adversely affect the existing use nor usability of adjacent or nearby properties. This property does lie within the Watershed Protection Overlay District. Therefore, any developments on this property would be required to adhere to all standards outlined in Section 5.3 of the city's Unified Development Code. The requested annexation appears that it would conform with the comprehensive plan as it pertains to the future land use map. There appears to be adequate school, public safety, emergency facilities, gas services if needed, parks, and water and sewer services in the area to support the proposed annexation. Walton County Board of Commissioners approved this request for annexation at their August 5th regular meeting. Staff recommends approval of the request to annex tax parcel SC 210010DP into the City of Social Circle, and Planning Commission recommended approval of the request as well at their August 26th meeting.
Okay, any questions for Cody? Thank you, sir. This time I'll give the applicant time to speak. 10 minutes with the opportunity to reserve time for rebuttal.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. This 28 acres is part of a bigger 230-plus acre total tract. The old city limits was the arc that is basically cut off the 28 acres that's associated in the red on the top map. And all we're looking to do is combine it into the bigger parcel so that we can work forward towards the development that we've laid out for the site. Me personally, just as I've been in the city and in the area for a little over 10 years. I have several properties that are around Social Circle besides this one and the other one that we'll talk about tonight. And so anyway, this is just one of the pieces that we've been working on in this area since we bought it 5 years ago. So I'll reserve the rest of my time for rebuttal.
I'm sorry, I also failed to get your name and
Oh,
address,
yeah,
please.
I'm sorry. Carlton Wallstead, live in 4620 Marietta, or Ponte Vedra Drive, Marietta, Georgia, 30067.
Okay. All right, this time I will open the public hearing. No one has signed up to speak in favor, but we do have on this one, looks like Chris stuttered.
It's Christie, mine.
Christie, okay. All right, Christie.
Already? Okay, y'all ready?
Name and address, please.
My name's Christy Studdard. My address is 5174 Hawkins Academy Road, and we have a family farm on 1030 Amberstapp Studdard Road. So, let's see. Basically, what I wanted to say is living outside the city limits of Social Circle, we thought we were safe. My husband's family has been living and farming in the area for generations. I would like to know at what point that our home was labeled as an industrial or developing corridor, and when was someone going to share this information with us and others in the area. Instead, we go about our business, and my husband and I are both small business owners, while my husband's farm is slowly being encroached upon by the constant annexing of agricultural land. Every time I attend one of these meetings, I hear the phrase industrial character area. I hear statements like, this parcel touches land already zoned industrial. So then the heavily opposed annexation is passed and more land is added to the industrial character area, only to be used as an excuse to annex more land on another day because it is now touching newly annexed, heavily opposed industrial land. I have said that it feels like an artery that was cut open and continues to bleed out until there's nothing left. Nothing left of our watershed protection area, nothing left of our investment in our own homes and land, nothing left of our children's inheritance, nothing left of the clean well water that we have to drink. Only an area bled dry of resources and obsolete eyesores left behind in its wake, all in the name of revenue for the city and the city schools. Fear of housing developments are stirred in the citizens feeling forced to choose the lesser of two evils to support. However, I truly believe in my heart that in not so many years we'll be begging for those housing developments instead of the industrial surge. Now that we have multiple data centers up for vote, one on the end of our road that was passed on the snowstorm meeting when the city was shut down for bad weather. A sign seems to pop up once a month for us to pass as we drive to work and head to school, the school carpool line. My questions asked at previous meetings have gone unanswered as to how these data centers will impact the area, both the council and by both the council and the developers. Some of my questions have been in the past. How will the city possibly supply the amount of water, or even just one of these projects, at possibly using 3 million of water per day each? To help you understand how much water that is for the people that don't know, the average household uses 200 to 400 gallons of water a day. I have asked questions about the closed-loop water system as well. What coolant chemical will be used in the water? How will that water be stored when the system has to be drained for maintenance? Open retention pond, water tower, none of these questions are ever answered. What is the plan for the building when it is obsolete? This is a question nobody can answer. Where does the e-waste go? And e-waste, for those of you that don't know, are the hard drives that they cannot be recycled. They have to be put in a landfill, mercury, lead containing. They cannot be recycled at this point. We do not have the technology for it. Where does that e-waste go? Now, these are obsolete after 2 to 5 years and have to be changed out every 2 to 5 years. So will there be a need for a landfill in the near future to hold it all? I still have all those questions, but I also have a new question. Why are the projects that are being suited for heavy industrial zoning being put under light industrial with a special use permit? Not just once, but over and over again. That's what I don't understand. It's like almost like a loophole, or it gives y'all a little bit more like wiggle room and like how you can zone things. And I don't understand why that seems to be the default, the zoning. But yes, I'm against the annexation, and I'm signed up to speak the same thing against the annexation of the other, because I am against the annexation to begin with, because it just keeps crawling and keeps bleeding, and there just seems no end in sight to any of it. That's all.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Studdard. Any questions for her?
Any questions for me? Any answers for me would be fabulous. This is actually the third meeting I've spoke at, just trying to get some kind of answer to something.
I would recommend that you reach out to council members individually with your questions. This is comments only, not questions, so.
Will there be a town hall in the future to explain to us what the future use land map looks like, and where this like where the annexation is planned to continue out, closer and closer to our homes. Because I think the people deserve to know. I mean, y'all have like an idea of where, like, okay, this is the developing corridor, this is an industrial use corridor. Well, I know that my son is 5th generation on our land, and nobody has ever thought to tell us that we are now an industrial corridor and we do not live in the city limits. But it keeps on coming out. I don't have a vote in the city, but I do have a voice in the city, and I'll use it, as much as I can.
To answer your question, there is not a town hall scheduled.
Would you
but we
consider
will-
that?
we'll certainly consider that.
Okay, why does it take this long to get to that point that we have to beg? Because it's easier just to do it and say, oh, well, get over it, move out of the way. I'm used to being in the way, and I'm used to being collateral damage, so I'm getting pretty used to that.
Again, that's a question I don't think I can answer at this time.
Well, who would have that answer?
Mr. Attorney, your advice?
I think this is, you want a town hall to explain it, but this is your opportunity, this public hearing is an opportunity for you and anybody else to express their concerns and stuff so the city council can hear it.
Sure, this is my 3rd meeting I've spoke at, and I've never had any questions answered.
Again, this is not the forum to answer questions.
So
but
what
you
would
can-
that forum be?
Reaching out to council members or the city manager or staff.
But you're all on the same page. So you have your plan in place, you're implementing it, steamrolling it. It is what it is, basically, is what you're saying.
I did not say that.
Because
said
I
if you want-
have reached out, I have spoken.
I have talked to y'all.
Yes, you have.
Stood out there and told you, and talked to y'all for a long time.
Yes, you have.
And this, it's up to the property owner to decide what they wanna do with their property.
Sure.
Do not go out and ask anybody.
Not at all, because the property owner petitions for the use,
That's exactly
but they
right.
do not approve it.
But the city does not go out and ask them.
Sure, but you have to be responsible for what you're approving. And you know I like you, Steve. You're one of my
And
faves.
I am, I'm trying to be responsible to the taxpayers.
Yeah. All right, well, I just want y'all to think at what cost long-term. You gotta think long-term. We gotta play the long game and not just the long revenue game. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Christie. Mr. Hogsted? Yeah. Do you have a response? Would you like to comment?
So this piece is obviously the one that we're annexing is not in zoned, in light industrial. The rest of the property, the 200-plus acres that are west of it, that are along the bypass, are already zoned light industrial and already in that character area of being on the bypass. The 28 acres will be added to it as part of the city and as part of the overall tract that we have. So that's all I really have to say. If there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
There were questions. There were data center questions.
Carl, to get anybody on your team answer her data center questions?
I can answer some, or go into, I forget which ones that she was asking. I'm sorry, I was looking up where she was located on Hawkins
I
County.
think one question was the waste from, I guess you said the hard drives?
Hard- E-waste.
Yeah.
I think they are recyclable. I'm not positive on that. I don't think they would fill up a whole landfill with the total of them from that side.
2 million square foot, yeah.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. So my name's Jonathan Ward. I reside in Whitesburg, Georgia, 64 Lambert Road. So I'm the owner of Atlas Development, and we've got data centers all over the state of Georgia. And I can answer several of the questions to what I can of basically what she's asking. But all the servers that come out of the data center itself, they're all going back to be recycled. They're not going to landfills to be reused.
I think if I'm not mistaken, the other question was when you clean out the water, the recycled water, if you use the recycled water.
So every one of them's done a little different, so it depends on which end user goes on which campus. But typically, we'll entertain for recycled water, we want to use recycled water, so we want to use y'all's gray water. We also accommodate with potable water as well. But all of our water, so it depends on which end user actually takes on the site. And we'll work with that end user and y'all city staff and all your utilities to get all that situated for our permits during the permitting stage.
Explain the 3 million gallons a day deal. That's a peak, from what I understand, that's a peak one day usage, like 3 million gallons a day is a.
Yeah, they're all different, so it depends on which end user actually takes it. So there's a lot of confusion with the technology improving every single day, especially on data centers. We're already seeing those numbers come way down. Every time we move forward on each development, they're coming down more and more and more. So there's tons of different technology coming about right now today. But to answer your question on the 3 million, it all depends on your power. And it really depends on the end user, and it's actually worst case scenario. That 3 million is the worst case scenario at a certain point.
But it's not ever that.
No.
Anything else? Tyson?
No, I think that's all the questions I heard is about data center.
I still have a question about the coolant chemical, since these are over watershed protection program. What coolant chemical, is it ethylene glycol, which is what I've seen in my research, which is antifreeze? When that's drained out of the system, where does it go? Each one of these hard drives have to be replaced every 2 to 5 years. The system has to be drained if it's closed loop. Where is the water stored? Open retention full of antifreeze water sitting there? Is it in a water tower? We do not have access to county water, so we don't wanna end up like Flint, Michigan. So that's what my concern is.
So all the water being processed inside the data center goes back to the sewer treatment plant. We take y'all's gray water, for example, we bring it back to you cleaner than you gave it to us.
In a closed loop system.
Uh,
Because he
all
mentioned
system,
in the
all,
zoning meeting that y'all
so-
wanna move to a closed loop system.
So evaporative cooling doesn't exist in Georgia. Everything's gonna be a hybrid system. Georgia's climate does not allow evaporative cooling. It would take 10 times the amount of the 3 million you suggested a while ago to do evaporative cooling. So every system in Georgia is a hybrid system. Closed loop system, everybody's got their facts all twisted between closed loop and evaporative. It's all a hybrid situation.
So there's no chemical ever added.
Ma'am?
There's no cool chemical added to the water ever.
Oh, there's all kinds of, there is additives added in.
Well, that's
to
what
the
we're
water.
asking, is what the chemicals will be and how you would store the water.
Depends on which end user, and we abide by all state and regular, state and federal laws. We abide by every single one of them.
Okay, thank you.
All right. With that, I'll close this public hearing and bring it back to the council for action.
Mr. Mayor, we need to have all the public hearings for this property before any vote is taken.
Okay. All right. With that, brings up future land use map amendment, 2025-002. Cody?
WSG Land LLC is requesting an amendment to the city's future land use map to characterize tax parcel SC 210010DP as an industrial character area. This request is being made in conjunction with the previous annexation request of this parcel, along with an application to rezone the property from agricultural to light industrial as well. With the request to annex the property into the city, if approved, a character area would need to be assigned to the property. The surrounding properties, including those that are also seeking special use approval for a data center, are characterized as industrial character areas already. The proposal appears to be in line with the comprehensive plan in terms of aligning with the current future land use map in that area, as well as the amendments to the future land use map and comp plan that Mayor and Council approved last month following public hearings and DCA review. Staff recommends approval of the request to characterize tax parcel SC 2100010DP as an industrial character area. Planning Commission recommended approval of the request as well at their August 26th meeting.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Ellis? Thank you, sir. All right, we're gonna open the floor on these for comments, okay? Of that, I'll open a public hearing and ask for anyone wishing to speak in
Mr.
favor.
Mayor, you have to give the applicant the first chance again.
Okay, sorry. Trying to take them all at once is a little bit different.
Understand. So yeah, this is just changing the Flume area on the map to, the 28 acres into the same character area that the rest of the property is. It makes sense as part of the overall, my bigger tract that is there, so, reserve the rest of it for rebuttal if there's any other comment.
Okay. Open the floor for anyone wishing to speak in favor. Seeing none, open the floor for anyone to speak against. Hearing none, the applicant has the opportunity to comment. Any other comments? All right, close the public hearing. Item number 3, the rezone 2025-010, 0 Fairplay Road. Request to rezone from agricultural AG to light industrial for the purpose of developing a data center. Cody.
WSG Land LLC is requesting to rezone tax parcel SC 2100010DP from agricultural, as currently zoned by Walton County, to light industrial as part of a proposal for a data center development. As I mentioned before, the request is being made for the purpose of seeking special use approval to allow for the data center under light industrial zoning. Under section 2.3.1 of the city's Unified Development Code, data centers are only permitted outright in heavy industrial zoning. However, special use may be sought for them under light industrial zoning. Given the character of the area and surrounding properties, light industrial zoning looks to be the least intensive zoning that would potentially, if approved, allow for a data center. As shown on the proposed site plan, Exhibit A, the data center would be developed across 3 separate parcels, 2 of which are already zoned as light industrial, and would consist of 5 buildings, 1 proposed electrical substation, and 2 retention ponds. Under Table 2.1.5 of the UDC, the maximum pervious surface ratio typically allowed under light industrial is 40%. However, this property falling within the Watershed Protection Overlay District, the maximum ISR allowed would be 25%, as outlined in Section 5.3.4 of the UDC. Section 5.3 also states that a variance cannot be obtained pertaining to ISR for properties within the watershed protection. ISR, buffer, and all other land development requirements would be addressed during the development review phase and prior to any construction or site work beginning. A community meeting was held virtually on July 8th. However, aside from the applicant and their engineers, there were no other attendees. The range of uses is in line with the surrounding zoning districts, and there are other similar zonings within the vicinity as well, to include tax parcels SC 210001 and SC 210002, which are both a part of the proposed development and are both seeking special use as well. The proposed use does not appear that it would have a detrimental impact on public interest, health, safety, welfare, function, nor appearance of the adjacent uses or general vicinity. There appears to be adequate school, public safety, emergency facilities, gas services if needed, parks, and water and sewer services in the area to support the proposed rezone. Staff recommended approval of the request to rezone tax parcel SC 2100010DP from agricultural to light industrial. Planning Commission recommended approval of the request at their August 26th meeting.
Any questions for Cody? Thank you, sir. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, this is in regard to just the 28 acres to rezone into light industrial. Again, it's part of the bigger parcel that I have. It's just a small piece on the outside, so I'll save my time for rebuttal.
Okay. All right, this time I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor? Seeing none, anyone here to speak against? Christie?
I figured I would use this in the actual zoning comment instead of the annexation comment, because this one fits better here. So, we're talking about zoning from agriculture to light industrial. What I keep hearing is that fits better within the area, the character of the area. But you also say every single time with the data centers that they are only allowed outright in heavy industrial areas. So labeling it as light industrial and giving it a special use zoning does not change the project. It changes the language and makes it more palatable for the area. Am I correct in assuming that?
Cody, this is light industrial, right? Not heavy industrial.
No, it's light industrial, but can I address Cody?
Cody, can you come up? Come on up.
Sorry, Cody. I don't know you. Don't hate me. Anyways, I felt like that you said in other meetings that we've been in that the data centers are only outright suitable for heavy industrial. So what makes changing the language to light industrial for special use makes the project any different or suitable for the area?
Because if for some reason a data center is no longer there, the list of uses that is permitted under light industrial is far less intensive than those that would be permitted under heavy industrial.
So we're talking about later if the data center's gone and it's something else. Right.
So, under heavy industrial, you could have things such as overnight truck parking, truck transportation terminals, things like that, whereas under light industrial, the typical industrial uses you're looking at is more industrial service, such as gravel companies, things like that.
And I understand that, and you're saying the special use only applies for the intended use of the data center. But what I'm saying is, why are data centers usually only permitted in heavy industrial zoning?
Because that's just the way it's written in our UDC.
Why would that be?
It's a case-by-case basis, so it depends on the applicant. So special use allows mayor and council and, planning commission, when they offer a recommendation, to look at it and view it as a case-by-case basis, because again, data centers have also been confirmed by the regional commission and DCA to be a less intensive industrial use, which is why they no longer require a development of regional impact, such as most industrial uses that would be classified under heavy industrial.
Okay. So to be clear, it doesn't change the intensity of the project between heavy industrial and light industrial. Like, the project is still the same project.
Depending on a case-by-case basis, it all depends on site plan, concept plan, things like that, and again, area, watershed protection, things like that. So again, that's why it's case-by-case basis. That's why special use, it comes before mayor and council for approval.
Yeah, I don't think we're on the same page, but I appreciate you being on the same page.
Ms. Halsted, any comment?
No.
Okay. Close public hearing on this one. Brings up special use 2025-005. Mr. Ellis.
WSG Land LLC is requesting special use approval to allow for the development of a data center under light industrial zoning at 0 Fairplay Road, also known as tax parcels SC210010DP, SC210001, and SC210002. Under Section 2.3 of the Unified Development Code, data centers are only permitted outright in heavy industrial zoning. However, special use approval may be obtained to allow them for under light industrial. Given the proposed use, light industrial is the least intensive that would match the proposed use and other industrial uses currently in the area. The site plan, or Exhibit A, indicates that a data center would be developed across 3 separate tracts of land totaling approximately 235 acres, would consist of 5 buildings, an electrical substation, and 2 retention ponds. Exhibit A also indicates 3 ingresses and egresses along Social Circle Parkway and Fairplay Road. Under light industrial zoning, the impervious surface ratio is typically 40%. However, given that this property falls within the Watershed Protection Overlay District, the maximum ISR that would be allowed is 25%, as outlined in Section 5.3.4 of the UDC. ISR, buffer, and all other land development requirements would be addressed during the development review phase and prior to any construction or site work beginning. There is water availability in the area along Fairplay Road, as well as a sewer lift station at the intersection of Social Circle Parkway and Fairplay/Royal Malcolm Road. There are no stormwater or drainage issues currently in the area either. The applicant has indicated that their proposed operations would begin in 2028 with a phased ramp up in water usage to support cooling technology infrastructure. With that, their approximate daily water usage is anticipated to be 50,000 gallons per day, with gradual increases over the following years up to an eventual peak usage of 3 million gallons per day. It should be noted, though, that these are only estimates, and it's anticipated as technology progresses that these numbers will be much lower by the time the peak usage would roll around. These specific use standards for a data center are covered under Section 3.4.6.A of the UDC. This section outlines a data center as being a facility or portion of a facility used for housing network computers, systems, and telecommunication equipment used for remote storage, processing, and distribution of data. The proposed development and concept appears to fall within the parameters outlined in this section of the UDC. This property is not located within any local or national historic districts and is currently sitting vacant and uninhabited. However, the property does lie within the watershed protection and would be required to abide by all regulations outlined in Section 5.3 of the UDC. While the comp plan does not directly address data centers, it does identify this area as being one best suited for industrial use and growth within the city limits. Again, the proposed use does not appear that it would have a detrimental impact on public interest, health, safety, welfare, function, nor appearance of the adjacent uses or general vicinity. There appear to be adequate school, public safety, emergency facilities, gas services, parks, and water and sewer services in the area to support the proposed use. Staff recommends approval of the request for special use to allow for the proposed data center under light industrial zoning. Planning Commission initially tabled the request for special use at their August 26th meeting. However, at a called meeting on September 2nd, they recommended approval with the following conditions. Condition 1, maximum parking spaces allowed per building is 35 spaces. Condition 2, wall packs and exterior lighting mounted on the building shall only be placed above service entrances. Shall be cutoff fixtures, down lighting so as not to cast light or glare towards property lines or streets, and shall not be used for general site lighting purposes. Condition 3, parking lot lights shall not be taller than 20 feet. Shall be cutoff fixtures and not cast light nor glare toward property lines or streets. Condition 4, site lighting and photometric plans shall be completed and provided no more than 7-foot candles at the base of the light. Condition 5, power substation and generator shall be screened from view on all sides that face a property line or adjacent street. Screening shall be with a dense evergreen hedge that provides an opaque visual buffer, and said hedge shall be no less than 12 feet in height at the time of planning. Condition 6, all utility extensions and public infrastructure improvement costs shall be the responsibility of the developer. Condition 7, cooling system shall be a closed-loop system so as to conserve water, and evaporative cooling system shall be prohibited. And Condition 8, rooftop mechanical units shall be screened on all sides by either the building parapet wall or screen wall. I just want to make note, Conditions 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8 are already required by our UDC.
Any questions for Cody?
Yeah, I do have a question. It do seem like that every data center came before us, we keep squeezing it in as light industrial. So if it's heavy industrial, because I'm reading data centers are heavy industrial, why don't we just try it as heavy industrial? That's what it is.
Because in the case of, I guess, a case of some that have come before where they don't look like they're coming anymore, again, the list of uses that is permitted under light industrial is far less intensive than those permitted in heavy industrial. So if for some reason you were to rezone the property to heavy industrial and something would happen and it didn't come through, then the list of uses that could be allowed there could have much more of an impact on the community than what those would be under light industrial.
So let's use the two that the council's approved so far, the one down at I-20 and the one over on Amberstadt Studdard. Both of those were rezoned to light industrial. However, both of those projects appear to be dead.
Yeah, but
And,
if-
and if you had something that you'd rezoned a year ago to heavy industrial, you could have something over there that is way more intense and
that
potentially way,
sounds
and
right,
potentially
but we
way
can
more
also
noxious.
just-
And potentially way
we
more
can also,
noxious.
if we approve it as heavy industrial and say it's heavy industrial and is to be used as a data center only, if it's not to be a data center, then it can convert back to us, correct? The same, I mean, what do we do
No,
with the
the
more?
the rezoning, the zoning class would stay.
So it stayed, but how did we just do the other one? That we said if it didn't be a data center, you know, the other one over here, we said if it
That was on
don't.
the property I put on that stipulation that the property that was agriculture reverted back to agriculture if they didn't build a data center.
So we did it to say if they don't build a data center, then it comes back to
It goes back to ag.
So if we say, if this one converts over, we say if they don't build a data center, we can't say it converts back to ag?
Just
Is-
ag-
isn't
just
it-
the portion that's not ag.
Isn't everything on here already light industrial except for that sliver that we're annexing?
Correct. The only portion that isn't is the portion that's being annexed in.
Right.
I'm just asking because like every data center we're doing light industrial.
It's really, I'm assuming it's to protect the surrounding property owners because the heavy industrial would bring a lot more things that the community doesn't like if a data center doesn't come.
That's it for me.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Cody. Mr. Halsted, comment?
Yes, so we are applying for the special use for the data centers on this property. As you can see from the site plan, we could try to centralize those away from the property adjacent boundaries and, that you see from that standpoint. It's more centralized into the middle of it. The substation will be owned by Georgia Power, that is on our property, so the screening and all that will have to be worked out with them. I'm sure that we'll go through that process, but again, it's in the center of the property as well as you see there. The stipulation or the condition in regard to a true closed loop system is going to be a hybrid system. We'll work through that with the utility departments when we get to that, from the using the gray water aspect to bring back in. But that was one of the conditions that was not, I guess, put on to the thing through planning and zoning that didn't fit for what we needed at the time. It has to be open loop system to start with, and then as technology improves, we'll morph to those in the future. But for now, that's needs to be one of those stipulations that we can use the gray water and the other waters for evaporative cooling to start with. Let's see, from my standpoint, again, I've been working on this almost 2 years now. We were one of the first to enter into Georgia Power with the intake form for electricity, and to me, that's where all the stuff began. You had to have the power basically to be able to get a data center. Some of the other ones that were out there surfing around that have been approved in the past probably didn't have a commitment to power, or not even a commitment to an end user. And so I took the approach a little bit different than some of the other people that have been out here looking, or one of the joiners to us to the south. I went ahead and tried to bake the cake and get all the pieces put together, much as I would do in any other real estate project that I ever worked on, and made sure that I had all the right components that would bring the city what it was, a nice development that would be a generational impact basically to this town. I intend to retire down here. I will live out on the west side of town, and you know, I would like to see something of quality brought to Social Circle, and this is what I think is quality from where its location is on the bypass and what quality project it is. We do have commitment for power, we do have everything, and we just need to get through the special use of the project to be able to basically finish what we've started. So I do appreciate it, and I'll save my time for rebuttal.
Okay. With that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition?
Can I ask one question about the parking? Never mind.
You can come, Chris.
Come on, come on.
I was just
Cannon Drive, 1109 Cannon Drive. I was asking about the parking. If there's 30 parking places and we're bringing these jobs, I mean, it's 30 parking places.
I think he said 30 per building.
It's 35
It is
per building.
per building,
Per
yes.
building?
Yes,
Oh, so each building, not just the.
correct,
Not total.
I was just asking.
correct.
That's per shift, 3 shifts.
Okay. With that, I'll close the public hearing unless you have anything else to add. Close the public hearing, bring it back to the council for action.
And Mayor and Council, we do have to have 4 individual motions and votes, and they have to be in the same order.
I do have a couple of questions for the applicant, if that's possible. You talk about how you have a letter from Georgia Power saying that they can grant you that substation, but what about water? I mean, water's the big issue. Social Circle does not have the water at this moment to be able to do that. And so what's the plan?
So for this site, we've reached out to Walton County and City of Monroe, and they have discussed potentially about bringing a line south to basically help service through Social Circle and for service to the site as well. I know that there is some discussion in regard to Varner and Hard Labor Creek reservoirs and what's available in those at this time, and we're open to working with, through the process and development, we're open to working with whichever direction it needs to go through with the city to secure that.
But as of right now, just for clarity, there's no arrangement that's finalized.
Not at this time. We have had several conversations that have been very productive and very good. We feel like the water is attainable.
Okay. In the event of a drought, where water usage has to be limited, and water being one of the most valuable resources we have, what would be the plan on y'all's end to be able to conserve water?
Well, the intention is to use a lot of your gray water to start with, so y'all would be potentially putting that down the river anyways. In the conservation-minded effort, hopefully we won't have those peak days where we'll be needing all that water. Technology improves, obviously. We heard from Mr. Ward that every day almost there's new improvements to the water conservation in these data centers. So I mean that's probably one of the hottest button items that there is. So in the future, by the time that these things are up and running, we would think that the conservation would be through other means in the hybrid system as we discussed.
Gotcha. And if I understood y'all right, saying the closed loop water system only would be a deal breaker for y'all.
That's correct.
Okay.
We need to have the hybrid to start with, and we intend to use a lot of y'all's gray water. So, I mean, that would be a benefit for y'all. We'd be buying something that y'all would be just getting rid of.
Okay. Yeah. What else? Lighting, cooling. All the other planning and zoning recommendations y'all were good with?
Yeah. Like Cody said, most of those were already incorporated in the UDC. 35 parking spaces is per building, per shift is fine. The screening, I can control maybe some of the frontage road, but Georgia Power's in control of their substation, so their screening that would need to be whatever they put around their substation.
Okay.
Of course, it's located now in the middle of the property, but the other stuff is within reason.
And this isn't necessarily on you guys, but one of the frustrating things through the last 6 or 8 months that we've been here as a council is we've had 2 different data centers that have come and proposed to us. Those have been granted, approval, and the deals have been, dead now. And we're getting hit with data centers just every single month. It's hitting us, and I know that there's reasons why you can't disclose the end users. However, I want to make sure that whatever we're approving is not just people out there, fishing for land and kind of seeing what comes up and then going forward after that? Is there an end user in place?
There is, we're under NDAs obviously and all that other stuff. We can't disclose who they are. It's one of the, we have an electrical service contract from Georgia Power, so
Sure.
they've gone through that whole process basically to sign up and commit for the power, so
And the end user has done
the
that?
end user has done that on their own
Okay,
for this piece of property and the next one we'll discuss, but
okay. And those two properties, same end user, if you can say
Yes.
that? Okay.
well, I'm under India.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they are, it is a quality project that it will get done, and I know the other properties that you're referring to, and they took it a little different approach, I guess, from what I've done. Any other questions?
So, Mr. Wallstead. Would you also be open to another stipulation being added that requires a clearance letter from an engineer that utilities are in place before building permits are issued? From city engineer for our own systems.
A contingency from your utility systems has to have,
That we know that whatever you guys end up putting in will match our systems.
okay? If services from, and I know it matches your systems. I mean, yeah, that would be within reason.
Okay.
I don't see anything wrong with that. Makes sense. We'll be happy to work with you through that process once we go through and develop.
So I guess another question is, all right, so if they're working with Walton County and Monroe on possibly getting water to that site, who's going to be responsible to getting the water to them?
I will say that it is not these guys who are working with Monroe and Walton County.
So
It is a utilities issue where we have reached out and have had negotiations with both of those jurisdictions. And it is up to the jurisdictions to work out how to get the water to the site. Just like if you were building a subdivision, you have to work out how to get the water to that site.
So we're saying the city's going to pay for the water or the piping to get the water to
I
the
didn't
site
say
for the
that.
development.
I didn't say that.
So the question is, who's going to pay to have the piping to the development is what I was asking.
So it's actually one of the stipulations that's in there that they pay for the utilities to get to the site.
Okay.
It's already in the,
So they're gonna pay for the utility to get to the site, depends on where we get the water from.
right.
Okay.
This is one of the stipulations that Cody read off a while ago.
Just want to make sure we're saying the same thing. They're gonna pay for it.
Okay. I've been advised by our city attorney that we need to go through and vote on each one of these individually. So I'll entertain a motion on annexation 2025003.
So this is bringing it to the city.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to bring it into the city, annex it.
Second.
Okay. Motion from Councilmember Shelton and a second from Councilmember Price. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Was that two?
Two.
Okay. Mayor breaks a tie on that. I'll vote with the action for the data center. Next item, future land use map amendment. FLUM 2025002. Chair will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve.
a motion from Teresa. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Steve. Any further discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Just one opposition. Mr. Jackson voted in opposition of that one. Rezone 2025010. Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Got a motion from Steve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Teresa. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
One opposition by Councilmember Jackson. Special use 2025005. This is a request for special use to allow a data center under light industrial zoning. Chair will entertain a motion.
I can make a motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion from
Miss-
Teresa. Is there a
Miss-
second?
Ms. Price, with what conditions?
Got two different ones, right?
You amend your motion to include the amendments and to change the closed loop system to the hybrid system
Okay.
and to do the deal to where he has to have a letter from the engineers
City engineer,
for the utilities,
it's from city engineers.
for the city engineers.
I'd like to make a motion with those amendments.
Okay.
You got that, Susan?
Got it? Okay. All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion from Teresa, second from Steve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, we have two in opposition. Mayor breaks the tie. I'll vote in favor of the request. Okay, I think that, that does it for this portion. Next up, we have annexation 2025004, 1279 Cannon Drive. Mr. Ellis.
WSG Land LLC is requesting to annex 1279 Cannon Drive into the city of Social Circle as part of a proposed data center development. As part of the proposal, if approved, the applicant would also be seeking a future land use map amendment, a rezone, and special use approval as well. This parcel is approximately 41 acres and is currently in the unincorporated portion of Newton County along Cannon Drive. This parcel is directly adjacent to property currently within the city limits, and the property it abuts is also owned by the applicant. The requested annexation, as proposed, appears that it would address a specific need by promoting job growth and increasing the tax base. It does not appear that the proposed annexation would adversely affect the existing use nor usability of adjacent or nearby properties. The proposed use is compatible with the character of certain nearby properties. However, as previously mentioned, this property, if annexed into the city, would require a future land use map amendment, rezone, and special use approval in order to proceed with the proposed use. The proposal appears to conform with the existing comprehensive plan and that the proposed use would be in line with the future land use map. There appears to be adequate school, public safety, emergency facilities, and parks available to support the proposed annexation. However, please note that Newton County Water and Sewer Authority would be the service provider for this area. Staff recommends approval of the request to annex 1279 Cannon Drive into the city of Social Circle. Planning Commission recommended approval of the request as well at the August 26th meeting.
Okay, thank you. What questions for Cody? Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Chalstead.
Kind of like the other tract that we're dealt with. This one is 42 acres that adjoins another total 268 acres that is there. This parcel is adjacent to and it's in the, I guess the corridor area, character area, and the other two properties are already in the city, so we're just trying to add the 42 acres in. I'll save the rest of my time for rebuttal.
All right, thank you. I'll open a public hearing. Anyone here wishing to speak in favor? Anyone here wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none.
She wait.
Oh, we do have some.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Studdard.
I've already said everything I need to say. I just thought would come up here again to reiterate that I am personally against the annexation of any more land at this moment into the city, because it has been, and land has been annexed at an unprecedented amount lately, and it's really wild to me. I've never seen anything like this. And with Cannon Drive, my sister and her husband back here live at 1109 Cannon Drive. So it's kind of ironic that we have had a possible data center, whether it got squashed or whatever, and I appreciate so much the stipulation you put in, and I'm asking that the zoning stipulation be put on this same project, if at all possible, and I would greatly appreciate that. For that zoning to go back to agriculture zoning or whatever, residential agriculture, if this does in fact fall through. Like I said, I grew up here, we lived here, blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all before from me. But I have never seen the borders of this city changing at this rate. And I just am asking again for a town hall to help people understand what the long-term plan is for that change. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Halsted? Okay. With that, I'll close this public hearing.
Yeah, 2 days.
Oh, I'm sorry. Chris Dingler?
So my name's Chris Dingle. I live on 1109 Cannon Drive. And you can actually see my house in this photograph here. I actually put it up for sale a little after the first of the year for sale by owner, because I found a place I like across town. Still social circle area, I grew up here, 42 years old. We worked hard all our life to get the house I've got, extended property. So I've got 5.5 acres in the house, and I've got 5.5 acres beside it. Just like the gentleman here, he bought it, the land, for an investment. I bought the property over time. I bought it in tracts. I didn't buy it all at one time in 5 acres. I bought a 3-acre tract, and I bought a 2-acre tract. So it's separate from my house. And then I've had a couple people interested. I tried to sell it on my own first, because I had a couple that was interested in buying it instead of going through an agent. They're trying to get rid of a house in a different state. So we kind of working with them. I had a couple that were interested in it, and then the sign goes up and everything's dead. It hurts because, okay, so take for instance, the city's gonna benefit, these guys are gonna benefit, I'm not gonna benefit. You know, my house is gonna go down, their property value is gonna probably triple or even more when it goes into the light industrial from agriculture. So, I mean, where does that leave me? I mean, I'm a citizen here. My understanding, this guy from the land development, I thought he actually lived here, but I see that he lives in Marietta and has property here. And I mean, I understand where he comes from. He's an investment. He's an investor. I mean, I invested in property too. I don't know what else to say. I mean, any one of y'all live on 1109 Cannon Drive where I was at? Would y'all vote for it? I'm just asking. You sit where I can actually point you my house on here. And matter of fact, it's about 120 yards from my driveway to the gate to that property. So here's the gate right here. This is my house, and this is my 10 acres. And this is the property right here. This is the city limit. Well, this is the city limit. They're trying to get this in the city limit. I am in the city. So the only thing separating is this little tract of land right here, which is about, I would say, 100 yards or a little over 100 yards. So I'm just asking if any of y'all lived in my house or in the area that I'm living in, and, you know, would y'all vote for it? And I mean, can we put a stipulation that if this goes through, can they purchase my property in my house or the developer? I mean, I'm not asking for $1 million, I just wanna ask what the ongoing house rate is right now. So with my house and my land, I've got everything that's been sold, like, within the last 4 months, and I'm there or below what it is, and now I'm not even gonna get that. Like, I mean, I just wanna sell my place at the price that it's worth now before this goes into place. And now I'm at the verge of putting it on the market and see kind of what I can do with it. But like, is there any kind of stipulation on that to add that to it, or I'm not sure, but I'm just leaving it up there. I grew up here. He's an investor. I did invest. I understand where they're coming from, but their property is gonna, I mean, there's no telling how much an acre that's gonna get sold, probably 95 to 100,000. A lot of these data centers, all these land around here that's getting bought up, I mean, the property is, it's unreal, the percentage of these data center, the investors are paying for this property, and then me, the citizen, you know, work hard for this, and I just get stepped on. Because it's not gonna get, I'm not gonna get what I'm asking out of my house now. This passes, I'm not gonna get. And like I said, I've had a couple people, but since these signs went up, it's just been dead. So.
Thank you, Mr. Dingler. Mr. Halsted?
Yeah, I know we kind of jumped ahead of here. I know we're talking about the 42 acres, but if you look at the site development plan, most of my stuff is concentrated into the central part of the tract. If you look at the 42 acres, there's hardly anything actually on the 42 acres that is close to his house. I understand that he's a couple of tracks away. We had some conversations after planning and zoning, and we know each other through neighborly activities, I guess, from that standpoint. So, in my personal opinion, I don't think it's going to impact his house and his values directly. I don't think there's any stipulation y'all could put on me to make me buy his place. Obviously, we can have outside conversations directly with him. If it's something that he is desperately interested in, then we can discuss that with him directly. As of right now, that's where I stand.
Okay.
I don't
Thank
have
you.
anything else. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anything? Thank you, Mr. Halsted. All right, with that, I'll close this public hearing. We're actually going to go through this, the rest of these before we take council action. So the next one is future land use map 2025003 for 1279 Cannon Drive. Mr. Ellis.
WSG Land LLC is requesting an amendment to the city's future land use map to characterize 1279 Cannon Drive, also known as tax parcel 0132001E, as a gateway interchange character area. This request is being made in conjunction with the previous annexation request for this parcel, along with an application to rezone the property from agricultural to light industrial as well. With the request to annex the property into the city, if approved, a character area would need to be assigned to the property. The surrounding properties, including those that are also seeking rezone the special use approval for data center, are already characterized as gateway interchange character areas. The proposal appears to be in line with the comprehensive plan in terms of aligning with the current future land use map in that area. Staff recommends approval of the request to characterize 1279 Cannon Drive as a gateway interchange character area. Planning Commission recommended approval of this request as well at their August 26th meeting.
Thank you, Cody. Any questions for Cody? Thank you, sir. With that, I'll open a public hearing, ask if there's anyone here wishing to speak in favor.
Mr. Mayor, you have to let the applicant go first.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought I'd already asked you. I'm sorry. You good? Okay.
That was the first.
Okay, open public hearing. Anyone here wishing to speak in favor? Anyone here wishing to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I'll give the applicant an opportunity again if you want to say anything. Okay, we'll close this public hearing. Bring us up to rezone 2025011 at 1279 Cannon Drive. Mr. Ellis.
WSG Land LLC is requesting to rezone 1279 Cannon Drive along with Zero Mill Road, also known as tax parcels S133001 and S133005A, from agricultural to light industrial. As I mentioned previously, this request is being made for the purpose of seeking special use approval to allow for a data center under light industrial zoning. As I've mentioned several times already, Section 2.3.1 of the UDC states that data centers are only permitted outright in heavy industrial zoning. However, special use approval may be sought for them under light industrial zoning. Given the character of the area and surrounding properties, light industrial zoning would be the least intensive zoning that would potentially allow for a data center. As shown on the proposed site plan, the data center would be developed across plus or minus 268 acres and would consist of 5 separate buildings, an electrical substation, and 3 retention ponds. The impervious surface ratio for light industrial zoning is 40%, as outlined in Table 2.1.5 of the UDC. However, all ISR, buffer, and other land development requirements would be addressed during the development review phase of this of their project. This property, is, unlike the other, is not inside the Watershed Protection Overlay District, so they don't have any of those requirements that they would need to abide by. A community meeting was held virtually on July 8th. However, aside from the applicant and their engineers, there were no other attendees. The proposed use is compatible with the character of certain nearby properties. However, special use approval will still need to be obtained to allow for a data center use, even if the rezone is approved. The proposed development would be required to adhere to the ISR outlined in Section 2.1.5 of the UDC, as well as all of the development requirements outlined in Articles 7 and 8 of the UDC. Additionally, the proposed use does not appear that it would have a detrimental impact on public interest, health, safety, welfare, function, or appearance of the adjacent uses or general vicinity. There appears to be adequate school, public safety, emergency facilities, and parks available to support the proposed rezone. However, as I've already mentioned, Newton County Water and Sewer Authority would be the service provider for this area. Staff recommends approval of the request to rezone 1279 Cannon Drive, as well as tax parcels S133001 and S133005A from agricultural to light industrial. Planning Commission recommended approval for this request at their August 26 meeting.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Ellis? Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Halstead.
Yes, for the rezone of these parcels, it's much like the other one, same building kind of configuration, 5 buildings, the central substation. It's in Newton County watershed, and not watershed, but Newton County Water Service District and Sewer District, so we've already discussed that with them. The overall property, again, is buffered from the outside. We try to concentrate everything on the inside in the middle, so with that, it's kind of really similar to the one we just went through, so I'll reserve my time. Okay. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Okay, with that, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor? Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Okay, that closes this public hearing. Bring us to our last public hearing of the night, special use 2025006. Mr. Ellis.
WSG Land LLC is requesting special use approval to allow for the development of a data center under light industrial zoning at 1279 Cannon Drive and Zero Mill Road, also known as tax parcels S133001 and S133005A. As I've mentioned before, Section 2.3.1 of the UDC states that data centers are only allowed outright in heavy industrial zoning, but special use approval may be obtained to allow them under light industrial. Given the proposed use, light industrial zoning is the least intensive that would match the proposed use and other industrial uses currently in the area. The site plan, or Exhibit A, indicates that the data center would be developed across 268 acres approximately and consist of 5 separate buildings, an electrical substation, and 3 retention ponds. ISR for properties zoned light industrial is 40%. However, all ISR, buffer, and other land development requirements would be addressed during the development review phase. Exhibit A also shows ingresses and egresses along Cannon Drive / Hancock Drive, as well as a future roadway and access extending from US Highway 278 towards Social Circle Road and Highway 11. The applicants indicated in their application that they remain in continuous contact with Newton County and engineers to secure access from US Highway 278 for this roadway. The ingresses and egresses along Cannon and Hancock Drive, as well are intended to be used for emergency access only. Newton County Water and Sewer Authority is the main service provider in this area. The applicant has indicated that their proposed operations would begin in 2028 with a phased ramp up in water usage to support cooling and technology infrastructure. With that, their approximate daily water usage is anticipated to be around 50,000 gallons per day, with gradual increases over the following years up to an eventual peak usage of 3 million gallons per day. As I mentioned earlier, these are only estimates, and it's anticipated that as technology progresses, these numbers will be much lower by the time peak usage rolls around. Specific use standards for a data center are covered under section 3.4.6.a of the UDC. This section outlines a data center as being a facility or portion of a facility used for housing network computer systems and telecommunication equipment used for remote storage, processing, and distribution of data. The proposed development or concept appears to fall within the parameters outlined in this section of the UDC. This property is not located within any local or national historic districts, and it is, again, it's outside of our watershed protection overlay district, and is currently sitting vacant and uninhabited. While the comprehensive plan does not directly address data centers, it does identify this area as one being best suited for industrial use and growth within the city limits. Again, the proposed use does not appear that it would have a detrimental impact on public interest, health, safety, welfare, function, or appearance of the adjacent uses or general vicinity. There appear to be adequate school, public safety, emergency facilities, and parks available to support the proposed use. Staff recommends approval of the request for special use to allow for a proposed data center under light industrial zoning at 1279 Cannon Drive, also known as tax parcels 0132001E, and 0 Mill Road, also known as tax parcels S133001 and S133005A. Planning Commission initially tabled the request for special use at their August 26th meeting. However, they held a called meeting on September 2nd and recommended approval with the following conditions. Condition 1, maximum parking spaces allowed per building is 35 spaces. Condition 2, wall packs and exterior lighting mounted on the building shall only be placed above service entrances, shall be full cutoff fixtures, down lighting so as to not cast light or glare towards property lines or streets, and shall not be used for general site lighting purposes. Condition 3, parking lot lights shall not be taller than 20 feet, shall be cutoff fixtures, and not cast light nor glare toward property lines or streets. Condition 4, site lighting and photometric plans shall be completed and provided no more than 7-foot candles at the base of the light. Condition 5, power substation and generator shall be screened from view on all sides that face a property line or adjacent street. Screening shall be with a dense evergreen hedge that provides an opaque visual buffer, and said hedge shall be no less than 12 feet in height at the time of planning. Condition 6, all utility extensions and public infrastructure improvement costs shall be the responsibility of the developer. Condition 7, cooling systems shall be closed-loop systems so as to conserve water, and evaporative cooling systems shall be prohibited. Condition 8, rooftop mechanical units shall be screened on all sides by either the building, parapet wall, or screen wall. And Condition 9, access off of Cannon and Hancock Drive shall be for emergency use only, and use for construction access shall be prohibited. As with the other, conditions 2, 3, 4, 6, and 8 are already required by the UDC.
Any questions for Cody?
I do have one question, Cody. Several times it's been mentioned that there was virtual meetings held and no one showed up. This isn't the first case of that. How are those things advertised?
So for community meetings, it's up to the applicant to send out public notices. They're required to send out a public notice, to mail out a public notice 14 days prior to the scheduled meeting. Our UDC doesn't state that it has to be in person, so they're allowed to host a virtual meeting. And then we require them to submit the meeting minutes, sign-in sheets, and notice to us no later than a week prior to Planning Commission.
And if I remember correctly, isn't it just neighboring properties?
It's adjacent properties that are within the city limits is the way the UDC reads.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you, Cody. Mr. Halstead?
Yeah, so we're applying for the special use for the data centers here. I came to my mind when I was sitting down looking at it, and we're discussing the character area, and obviously this property and several others to the east, well, one to the east, Newton IDA's piece, and some stuff to the west, originally was part of what was known as the Stanton Grove mega site back in the days, and there was obviously where the Rivian Road ties in now, the road would carried all the way through to Highway 11. There are plans still on Newton County's website that has some of those maps that show that road on them. So we've been working with some engineers and with Newton IDA in regard to the access from the south into the property. But this area has been identified obviously for its growth corridor. I forget what is in the future or the future land use map as a exchange corridor area. And so the property that where it's located again, central area of the data center is in the middle of it with access through to the south. So that's all I have right now, and save my time for rebuttal or questions.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Halstead?
I would like to comment, we did send letters to all the adjoining landowners 2 weeks prior to we held the meeting, and that was one of the things that we had to do.
Thank you, sir.
Are you okay with all the proposed conditions?
No, the one with the closed loop system, obviously, it needs to be like the other one. It has to be evaporative to start with, and then potentially the hybrid once once the technology catches up. So, and obviously we're in Newton County, so I don't think the water is an issue right now. So,
And do you have a guarantee from Newton County for that amount of water?
we are in direct conversations with Mike Hopkins and them over there, yes. And actually, they already have sewer easements on our property. Newton County does, so it's. Yeah, there's lots of water that is gray coming out of what is Baxter and all that we can use. Or now it's Takeda. Sorry.
Anything else? Thank you, sir. All right, with that, I will open public hearing. Anyone here wishing to speak in favor of this special use? Anyone here wishing to speak in opposition of the special use permit? Seeing none, close the public hearing. Bring this in its entirety back to the city council for action.
Introduce each one.
Can do it that way. Okay, annexation 2025-004 for 1279 Cannon Drive.
So I have a question. If you're looking from the Walton County Q Public and then the Newton County Q Public, you got a spot right in the middle, right there. What is that? That's going to be out the city limit, in the city limit?
There's a piece, there's like a little 1 mile square piece.
Right here.
Right, that's also his property that is not included in this.
Yeah.
This is your property, no?
There is a parcel that is on the frontage of Cannon Drive that is not included in the annexation. It's roughly 2 acres.
That's your
And
property?
that is my property. And then there is a small farm that is, guy's got some chickens in
Diaz.
yeah, I think that's
So
his.
that's
like
the
a,
question I'm
it's
having.
like a 5 acre parcel or a 10 acre parcel right there that's
So
in-
everything around here can be in the city limit and that one parcel cannot?
No, the 2 acres that is on the frontage of Cannon Drive that I'm not annexing in. Do you mind if I approach the map?
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
There's a 2 acre parcel that sits right here on the frontage that is not connected, and then what's across the street is not in the city. So these properties in this area are not in the city.
I think what you're getting at, Tyson, is are we creating an island?
Yeah,
Right.
that's because I'm looking at how it's shaped, even though it's, his property is, so the one on the left side of it is in the city limits. It's in the Walton County portion. And then the Newton County portion, and then you got that little, that little strip right there.
You got the strip, and then across the street.
That opens it up for us.
Yeah, that's not in the city.
Okay,
So that's
so
your-
that makes it not an island.
correct.
We're not annexing the Walton County, we're just doing the.
Yeah, just right here.
Yep. So that even furthers.
Well, yeah,
the
because that's
non-island.
already in the city though.
The 42 acres is out of the city, right?
Okay.
Now, yeah,
It's
that's
just
what
out.
y'all voting on.
Strip, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Chair will entertain a motion. Mr. Attorney, can this fail for lack of a motion on a public hearing?
You can't fail for a lack of a motion. Someone's got to make a motion one way or the other.
Okay, let me try. I'll make a motion to deny the annexation.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion from Tyson and a second from Nathan. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. All right, that brings it to me. I'll vote for denial.
Be clear, Mayor, you are voting in favor of the motion to deny.
Yes.
So I believe if the annexation doesn't go through, there is no need to make
Further
correct on the other three.
On that parcel, the other two parcels are already in the city limits.
It's just that one partial.
The other two parcels are still in the city limits.
Okay, so we still do need action on those other two parcels, if the applicant even wants to.
I guess, we would like to vote on the other two that are, I guess, are in the city limits from that standpoint. And now that the 42 is out, not annexed.
So, Mr. Mayor, we do need to go forward with the other actions on the parcels that are inside the city.
Okay. We're opening the public hearing on this?
No, we
we
already
already
had
did
those. We're
those.
just
We
call
got
for a vote,
actions.
vote on the future land use map is next.
Chair will entertain a motion. For annexation 2025004.
This is for the future land use map. Oh, cause that's right, cause it's already done, that's right. Yeah. That's for the special use.
Okay. Chair will entertain a motion on rezoning special use.
I'll make the motion with the Cody's commission.
The first action would be zoning the two parcels that are inside the city from AG to light industrial.
So what we, so that ain't, so we're doing something different from what you said, so what do we actually do?
Of the two parcels from AG to light industrial is the first action.
Okay, so we gotta rezone them from AG to light industrial.
Takes an individual motion on each one.
Yes.
Okay.
Is the 42 acres closer to Chris's house, or is it further away from Chris? 42 acres is not part of this anymore. I know that, but I know.
It was closer to his house.
Yes. I'll make a motion to, approve.
Approve.
And let me say this, when you sit up here, it's hard to make these decisions. This is not something that you just fly by the seat of your pants and you do. I mean, you have to think about a lot of different things, and this is a hard one, but I think I'll make a motion to approve.
You need to indicate which one you are approving.
The one you just said.
What we have is, Jay, clarify the tax parcels and we know what we're approving.
Yes. So Cody, what are the, if you'll come up here, what are the two tax parcels that they're voting on right now?
All right, so the two for the rezone and special use, they're both already gateway interchange character areas, so it would be tax parcel S133001 and S133005A. It would be to rezone them from agricultural to light industrial, and then the special use would also be for those two parcels to allow for a data center under light industrial zoning.
This is just for the.
This just for those two.
for
That's the
rezone.
motion, just for rezone.
Okay, have a motion from Steve, there's a second.
Second.
Second from Teresa, further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I vote with the ayes. Okay, what's the other one?
For the special use permit.
Okay, that's, special use 2025006. Council action. You have a motion?
Special use 200506.
1279 Cannon Drive. Special use to allow a data center under light industrial zone.
For tax parcel 132001E.
No, that's the one that's not.
That's the one that's not.
This is for the special use to allow a data center development for parcels S133003 and S133005A.
So 133201 is the one that was took out.
Correct.
I'll make a motion to approve it with the stipulations of the Planning and Zoning Commission and change it to a hybrid system with the,
The approval of the engineer for the utilities.
the engineering approval on all utilities before a permit can be issued.
Second.
Okay, have a motion from Councilmember Shelton and a second from Councilmember Price. Further discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any-
Nay, sorry.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Mayor breaks the tie on this one. I'll vote in favor. Okay. That concludes our public hearing portion of the meeting tonight. Some of you here just for that, I'm sure, so I'll allow you a few minutes to exit if you wish to do so. Yeah, we're recessing for a few minutes. Oh, yeah, Nathan. Like those long public hearing meetings.
Well, especially that one got confusing.
It
All
did.
different ones,
Yeah.
doing it at the time, which we haven't done in the past.
That's
I like
right.
doing it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'll come back.
You guys can move on.
Okay, thanks.
Susan, I'm planning on being there.
You gotta open the church.
I assume so.
I'll call us back to order. Would like to mention one thing. Mr. Boyd will not be back with us next year for another term. He's decided to do just one term, and I appreciate his service to the city thus far. We do have the new council member, Mr. Adam Conaway, present tonight. We recognize him. Congratulations, Adam. Mr. Taylor, will you take us through the consent agenda, please?
Yes, we only have 4 items on the consent agenda this evening. All of them are minutes. One is minutes of the mayor and council meeting from August 19th. Item number 2 is the minutes of the executive session from August 19th. Item 3 is the minutes of the mayor and council work session from September 4th. And from 4 is minutes of the executive session from September 4th. Recommend approval.
Chair will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, we've got a motion from Nathan and a second from Tyson. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Unfinished business, we have none that I'm aware of. New business,
So 3 items under new business, actually 4 items under new business now. First item is an acceptance of the 2025 GMA Safety Grant for $17,400 and authorize amending the budget to appropriate the funds to police and fire. This is $17,400. It's a grant from Georgia Municipal Association's insurance program, and $17,400 will be going towards body-worn cameras and records management software for the police department, and then turnout gear for the fire department. Recommend approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
okay, got a motion from Nathan. I'll take the second from Steve. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Second item is an approval of an agreement for the installation of natural gas main in Pinehurst Estate subdivision in Monroe. This particular subdivision is in our service territory, and it's currently under development up on HDASA. So standard agreement applies, where we will install the gas line, and in exchange they will put in place a gas furnace, gas water heater, and either a gas stove or gas dryer. Recommend approval.
It's one gas appliance?
Three.
Three. I know at one time
Has to be
said-
it has to be HVAC, has to be hot water heater, and it can be either a stove or a gas dryer.
Okay. I remember one time we was having issues with that because.
Yeah, one time there's gas logs and,
Yeah,
and
okay.
Gas grills and other stuff.
Stuff they weren't gonna use.
Yeah.
Make the motion to approve.
Take one in, take 1 second.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion from Steve, second from Tyson. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next item is consideration of a fee increase for new residential water main sets. These are the water main sets that are sold to developers whenever they are coming into the community. And this is for you tonight because of a price increase, actually, where we're currently charging $300 per set, including a meter, backflow preventer, meter box, copper tubing, and curb stop. And that no longer is enough money to cover our actual costs. So recommend raising this fee to $550 plus $10 per foot for tubing. That will help offset expenses for whenever we have to install these. Recommend approval.
Hurry up, Ty.
So moved.
All right, got a motion from Tyson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Teresa. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
All right, item number 4 is the item that Steve added at the beginning of this meeting. This is for putting in place a moratorium for 90 days on acceptance of new applications for data centers. I think as everyone saw tonight, this is a very stressful situation going on in the community right now. And the community sees it coming to them fast. They have no idea how fast it's coming at staff and council. Within the last month, since the last meeting, we've had requests for 3 additional ones, in addition to the 2 tonight, that will be coming for the council. And it's becoming too fast, too soon, and we need to have opportunity to work through the ones we have before we move forward on any others.
And just to clarify, these are zoning applications for data centers, correct?
And special use permits.
Yeah, any zoning related.
Any zoning related item for data centers.
So my question is 90 days actually long enough? I mean, we already got,
You can always extend it.
because obviously we already got 2 that were,
90 days puts it through the end of this council, actually.
that's perfect for Nathan. Okay. Sure you good with that, Nathan?
I'm great with that. I still got to hear 2 more before then, or 3 more.
3 more.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
We can readdress it at the end of the year, so.
Just look at it. Steve, you gonna make the motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Second.
Okay, a motion for acceptance from Steve, second from Tyson. Is there further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, do we have a need for an executive session?
Yes.
Okay.
For potential litigation.
Land, legal, and personnel.
All right, we are gonna have an executive session, so, I'll entertain a motion for that.
So moved.
Second.
And that's for personnel, real estate, and litigation. Who made the motion?
Tyson. I second it.
Okay, motion from Tyson. All in favor say aye.
Aye.